All right, so the thing that we want to achieve in our final chapter is pretty simple. It's called React Router. It's a pretty huge topic and it's pretty important, but its function is actually quite simple. Right now we have our quiz, plus we have our flashcards in the same page, right? We have our flashcards on top and quiz on the bottom. Generally, apps don't work like this. So what we want to do is your URL slash quiz is going to run it in your quiz, and slash cards or slash cards, something like this, is going to load a different page. So this will have only our quiz component, and this is going to have only our flashcard component. And we're going to achieve that using React Router. Before we start, let's go into our app.jsx and React. Okay, so React always builds single page applications. The browser itself loads once, then JavaScript swaps the content. That's all that's happening. We've seen this before, we've looked at this before. The root, everything inside the root is swapped using JavaScript. Okay? Routing is how we show different pages for different URLs. So you might have slash API, slash health, you might have a slash login, slash register. So all of these different pages that look different. So we do this without a real reload. We don't have to actually reload this. So the standard tool that we use for this is called React Router, which makes routing possible. So what we're doing is returning our one screen app into two clean pages. One is going to be deck, the other one is going to be quiz. So this might be pretty short. All you need to do is open up your terminal. I've already done it here. And close your development server first of all. Right after you close your development server, I want you to run npm install react router DOM. So this is a package that allows us to use the React Router. Then close out of it and open your main.jsx. The first thing I want you to do is import it. So you want to import browser router from React Router DOM. The next thing is whatever you want this router to access. So whatever pages that you want to route with this router have to be surrounded by this router. So right inside here, look at how we've wrapped our app component or our app page inside our theme provider. Like so, I'm going to wrap this theme provider with my browser router like so. So now my browser router lives at the outermost of theme provider and outermost of app. Forget strict mode for now. So it switches on routing for everything inside it. Everything inside it, it switches on it. We wrap it around our entire application like we did with theme provider. Now let's split our screen into two real pages. A page is basically just a normal component that we show for a URL. We just show a different component for different URLs. Let's move our deck. So inside our app, let's move our entire deck into its own page. So inside source, I'm going to create a new JSX file and I'm going to call it a deck page. Inside deck page, I'm going to move everything outside of app that we used. So the first thing is this use state, use effect, use reference. I need this. Second thing is I need the actual flashcard. So I'm going to put the flashcard in here. I'm going to create a function called deck page. And this function is going to take a few props. It's going to take cards. It's going to take set cards. It's going to take loading, and it's going to take error. So this will be provided to us from the app itself. Next, we have, let's say, question and answer. I wonder where those are. So we have our question and we have our answer. So we need these things and we can put them into the deck page itself, right? What else do we need? You can take the use effect. So we can grab the use effect and we can put it into our page right here. Next thing, our add card event. So everything that has to do with adding cards, we can put this entire thing in here as well. And finally, our entire div So our form, our buttons, and everything, so this entire return statement right here can also go inside our deck page so that we can clean this up a little bit. So let's pull all of this actually first. Let's copy it over to our deck. And I want to remove this quiz cards section. And let me remove this. And everything in here should be working. And for now, I'll just put a return statement in here that is just empty. So I'll just put an empty return statement right here with just an empty element like so. Everything should be fine. So we've basically just moved all of our logic into our deck page itself. So let's see if we have everything. So we have our question, we have our answer. We actually don't have our question input, so we didn't grab this. We need to grab this out of here and place it in here. Create an empty reference so that we can select the pointer as soon as we load the page. We have our use effect to do the same thing. Then we have our add card event so that we can create a new card. Everything looks fine. Then we're returning this. We need theme right here. So we don't have access to theme. To get access to theme, we have to actually use context. So I can simply just grab this. We can leave it in app.jsx as well, but I'll grab it out of there and I'll grab the theme right there. Use context, that should be fine. The theme context itself is probably not imported, so I'll import this as well. I'll import that right there as well. Now let's look for anything else that we didn't get. Everything else seems to be fine. We should have gotten everything else. Okay, so now we're going to create our quiz page. So our deck page is done. We're going to create our quiz page. We're just separating our logic into different pages. So inside quiz page, we need the actual quiz. So import quiz. Then of course you need the function. So quiz page, and it's going to take props of cards. And inside it, simply just I'll write a simple logic if cards.length equals to 0, then simply return a paragraph saying loading cards, else return our quiz. So the quiz cards that we already made with cards passed in as props again. At the end, we need to export default quiz page. So our quiz page is done. Our quiz leads us to quiz.jsx, which takes in cards as a prop and then works with that. This prop is given to us from somewhere else itself. Okay, so we have two tidy components. We have two tidy pages. I'm sure if you've paid enough attention and gone through this one by one, hands-on training, I'm sure you're familiar with everything that we copied over and you're clear on what everything does, how everything ties into each other. Now the app becomes the shell that decides what page to show. So this is just the shell that decides what page to show next. So we need to do three things inside our app.jsx. First of all, before we even start, we need to import everything. So we have imported header right here. Next, we need to import our deck page from deck page. Did I not export it? It seems like I didn't export it. So export default deck page. And then we need to import our quiz. So I'll put the quiz import up here. So we imported the three components. Header is going to be on all of the pages, or header, we're just going to put it on the deck page. And then we have quiz for quiz page. So not just quiz. I don't think it's quiz. We need to import the quiz page. So import quiz page from quiz page. Then we have our use cards. We also need our use context. We have our use cards. We need our use context. So use context from React. That should be fine. And we're also going to do some styling for final touches. So we're going to import app.css. Finally, for routing, we're going to import routes, route, and link. So these are the three things that I want to talk about. we're going to import this from React. And we're going to use them and see how they look like. So at the very beginning, we have our shared deck. So I can remove this line. Let me add a comment right here. So this is our shared deck for quiz and deck page. So both of them are getting the same questions or the same deck. Next, we're grabbing the theme, so that should be fine. Okay, so in the portion where we're returning, well, we're returning a div, and the div is going to have the class name of, simply like we did before, app theme, needs to have that theme. Then inside it, I'm going to add a link. So a link tag like this, and it's going to say to equals to slash. So if it's home slash, then it's going to go to deck. If it is on slash quiz, then it's going to go to quiz. Simple as that. Next, we need to have our routes. So we can have our routes in here by simply creating routes like so. And inside here, we can have individual route. So we can have one route. The path is just slash. Our element is deck page, cards equals to cards. We're just passing in all of the props now. So set cards equals to set cards. Loading equals to loading. Error equals to error. Like so. And we close up that element. And we close up that element. So in our route, so in our slash route, we're going to load in the deck page. Okay. When we load in the deck page, we're going to pass cards, set cards, loading, and error as props because that is what deck page requires. It requires cards, set cards, loading, and error as props. Similarly, we need a different route. So we need another route. This route is going to be for the path slash quiz. And all it requires is, well, we actually need the quiz page. And all quiz page requires is cards. I don't think it requires anything else. So we can safely close this up and close that up right there. And at the end, we make sure that we have export default app. Okay. We're going to add a little bit of styling to this as well. I want to add some style. So what I can do is at the top, oops, I forgot header. So I need header at the top. And right after that, I'm going to wrap these in a nav element with the class name of nav. So we're basically returning a div, and the div has the app theme. At the first, we have a header. Then we have a nav bar. Inside it, we have two links. So the first link takes us to deck. The second link takes us to quiz. If we go on the slash route, so even if you put it in the browser URL, if you go to the slash route, then we load in the deck page, so this component, with all of these props. If you go into the slash quiz route, we load this component with all of these props. So pretty simple, right? These actually don't render the page itself. They just tell you where to go. If you press on deck, you'll go to slash, and if you press on quiz, you'll go to slash quiz. Let me add a little bit of styling first. So let me go into app.css. And inside my app.css, we can actually remove all of this. And I can paste some styling for my nav bar. Now, if I start the development server, by default, if I go to this page, so if I open up Chrome and I go to this page, okay, so right here, we're getting an error. Element type is invalid, expected a string. That is because I looked through this. So we're actually importing routes, route, and link from React, whereas it should be React router DOM. So then all of these imports should work properly now. And if you refresh our page, so you can see this is my header section. So let me try refreshing. All right, this is my header section. So we can switch the theme to dark and light mode right here as well. So this is rendering twice. I wonder why it's rendering twice. I can go into my deck page. I think I might have put in a header here. Okay, I put in a header on my deck page as well. So if I remove that, okay, my deck page loads just once. And I can click on deck and quiz. So when I click on quiz, the header stays the same, but I get my quiz part So I go to /quiz. If I click on deck, I get my deck part. So I go to just the default /route. So I can switch between different pages like so, while still maintaining the same header. So switching between different pages is just the difference of showing different kinds of components on the screen. It's not necessarily a completely different application or a completely different page. It's just showing different components on the screen. So let me go ahead and put some quick CSS, some basic styling into this application real quick, and I'll come to you with the final touches. Okay, so for the finishing touches, all I did was I edited app.css a little bit, and then I edited index.css a little bit, and I use these styling already imported into my deck page, my quiz page, and all. So I haven't actually changed anything inside here. So I haven't changed any of the code inside here. Everything that you did perfectly works. I've just put some styling over it just to make it a little bit nice. So of course, I'll upload this to our GitHub organization where you can easily access all of the source code, download it, and use it and see for yourself. But this was our entire application. And the finished application looks something like this. So you have your header section divided by a line. You have all of your questions, all of your cards. So if you refresh, by default, you select the question by default. You can add a question, answer, you can add cards. You can hover over a card, you can click on it to show whatever the answer for that was. You can clear your cards. You can refresh, it'll show up. You can click on deck, which will show the same thing. You can click on quiz, which starts showing you the quiz. So I got it right, I got it wrong. You can see your scores. And at the very end, it does show your score as well. Quiz complete. You can click on play again. And all of this completely incorporates React components, props, state, lists, forms, fetching, custom hooks and references, context, use reducer, and routing. So look back at what you built. A real app with loaded data, a form to add cards, flippable cards, a theme switch, a self-graded quiz, and multiple pages. And you understand every single line. Well, at least you should. Run through the whole app once on the screen, load theme, add card, flip it, take the quiz, and see your score. You now know the core of React, genuinely enough to build real things. From the next level, managing big app state with Redux, going full stack with Next.js, adding TypeScript for safety, testing, and smooth animations, each one gets its own video if you'd like. So let me know what video you want to see, links on the screen and in the description. Subscribe so you catch them, try everything in the Codin playgrounds we have over at codin.com. Share what you build in our Discord, link down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Great work.